Since the introduction of Emperor Calus near Destiny 2's launch, we asked ourselves who this crazy turtle leader may be and why we haven't seen his true form. While this may be revealed in time, perhaps even in Opulence, today we're going to discuss the possible involvement with the Hive in next week's DLC. We know this whole penumbra or Opulence is going to be filled with tons of secrets as discussed by Bungie before, and some of the shots in the trailer may have given us a little hint at what we can expect, and we're going to talk about that today. Things like a bunch of Hive gunk located near the raid entrance, a new emblem that showcases some Hive related looking stuff, and some super scary whispers players have discovered in Cabal related areas. Alright Guardians, welcome back to the channel. Hope you're having an amazing day, and what you just saw was something that I created in the Unity game engine within a couple of days. The whole 0-hour mission and the Trevor encounter inspired me to recreate the entire thing using assets in Unity, and it works just like the game. You have to activate the 4 levers, and then you can unlock some of the secret Easter eggs at the end. Now if you are interested, a full gameplay clip is down below in the description, which will take you to a different video, and it should be up for Movie of the Week on Bungie's site if they approve it, so you can vote if you wish there very soon. But enough of my blabbing, let's jump right into the videos and topics, and here are the timestamps on screen if you're interested in a certain part. Alright, so just a little warning before we get into this. We're going to be diving back into the speculation zone as we discuss next week's expansion. Nothing is confirmed, but just presenting the facts that we see within the trailer, and then theorizing on what could happen given the lore that we already know. So I'll be voicing my opinion, and I want to hear yours in the comments down below. What do you think is going to happen? Who is the enemy in the raid going to be? And what's the whole deal with Calus moving forward? Now, let's begin with evidence of Hive involvement on board the Leviathan. So in various clips from the reveal trailer, we can see Hive enemies like ogres, knights, and so on, which isn't saying much. Of course, there could be different enemies around the area fighting for the new menagerie activity or something like that, and we've even seen the same type of thing back in the Taken King and the Dreadnought. The Cabal invaded and they were there as well, not just the Hive. But things get a little more suspicious when we look at an image from the Crown of Sorrow raid entrance, which I'm assuming this is the entrance. We can see 6 guardians and a giant vault looking thing in the background, but something you may have missed is the mass amounts of Hive gunk or chitin layered around the top floors. Now in my personal opinion, this could hint at something more behind the scenes, right? Yes, we could fight the Hive and the Leviathan for sure, different enemy races, things like that, but having these piles around suggests that they may have been here for a longer period of time, like the takeovers of the archaeology on Titan and also the moon. That stuff's everywhere. So if the Hive are a part of Calus's plan, how? Did they simply board and he needs our help again to clear the infestation like Argos, or has he been working with the worm gods or higher-ups which he may have encountered at the edge of the void? We do know that Calus was all sort of depressed and in sorrow when the Cabal betrayed him and left him on this Leviathan on a set course, and he met with something near the edge of the void that changed him forever. We don't know what Calus was like before that. Maybe he did speak highly like this, but he now uses the tongue of the worm gods or Ahamkara when addressing the Guardian, using phrases like "O champion mine" and so on. One of the Forsaken lore cards describes the differences between the Hive gods and the Ahamkara and how they sort of use the same language. It said, "I've been correlating information on the Ahamkara and the Hive worm parasites. Both display a peculiar ability to convert the host's intent into an automorphic reality-altering effect. Both use similar language in their appeal to the host. I don't think they're the same species, however. The hive worms spawn large numbers of young from relatively few adults, always display the same physical form, and live in communal groups. The Ahamkara are solitary, elusive, and seem to alter form to suit or confuse expectations. The shared syntax "O blank mine" may be the key. It seems to be a shibboleth used to invoke an ontomorphic effect, placing the target in a cage of O, which is activational, specific, appealing, and naming, and mine, defining ownership and subordination. Ahamkara and worm may have evolved separately to exploit this effect, just as many species independently evolve eyes. So that sums up what I said. They both use the same sort of phrase, but they're different species, and they're using it for the same thing, to try and control or take possession over something. Now the reason that's important is mentioned because Calus does the same sort of thing, and either he developed this on his own, or he met with something that's been doing it for a very long time. The only current threat we've been alerted to recently is of course Savathun, possibly her sister Xivu Arath, and Quria Blade Transform. The worm gods do still exist, but this stuff's been hinted at since the vanilla release, with the Hive trying to call her to Titan and the whole Savathun song situation. With Savathun, we know her plan, to keep this time loop in the Dreaming City going so she can learn how to infiltrate a place like the Distributary and use it for unlimited power. So would Opulence see us end a threat like this? Maybe, possibly? We know that Quria Blade Transform, which is the Vex Hydra taken by Oryx and gifted to Savathun, controls this loop in the Dreaming City. Tolan tells us this.
Quria is the key. The mind simulates Oryx and thereby masters the power to take. But of course, Quria is no power unto itself.
So it would seem that the way to stop this threat would be to take out Quria herself, and perhaps this could stall or wipe out Savathun's plan completely for the time being. Now me personally, I don't know if it'd be something as big as fighting Savathun in a season pass release like this. I guess Quria could be a thing because she's kind of like another disciple of Savathun like her daughter Dalankaru was, but I guess we'll just have to wait and see. In the trailer, we did get depictions of some of these Vex Hydras. I don't think it's Quria. I'm not sure if this was a raid boss, they'd throw it in here like this. And we do know that she is partially taken but has control over her own will, so that could look a little different. And in the Grimoire Anthology, this was a picture of Quria with all of her Vex. So if we did take out Quria, it's like, alright, so are we going to take out Savathun now? Is this going to be the big expansion in the summer? Are they going to do Hive again? Now if you're interested in all that, Bungie is going to reveal that announcement this upcoming Thursday and talk about the future of Destiny 2 and where it's going from here after Opulence. My personal hope is that it's an expansion and will have us going to Enceladus and also the Deepstone Crypt to learn more about the creation of the Exos and so on. But if you're interested in the Hive God Slaying Fest, it could be another one of those if you're up for it. Furthermore, we have even more possible evidence of this Hive or Vex-like connection. So the first 6 Guardians that defeat the brand new raid Crown of Sorrow will get another raid belt like this one seen right here. And if you end up defeating the new raid by Tuesday, you get yourself a sick new raid jacket like this one. Now that's not all. If you do beat this raid in the first 24 hours, you'll get this emblem right here, which is pretty interesting. If we take a look at this thing, you can see what looks like a Vex Hydra in the smaller images, and then down below what looks like sort of tentacles. So is this a hint at Quaria's tentacles and then the Hive-like dark and green colors in the background, or does this something have to do with more just Hive in general? Now I didn't discover all this stuff myself, of course. Other people have been posting it all around Reddit, on Twitter, and everywhere, and the general consensus that people have came to is yes, it could look like a Hydra, but it also resembles a bunch of stuff we've seen in Destiny 1 involving Crota and the Hive in general. Here are some images from that. Another big question is why we haven't seen Calus before. While there is no solid evidence for that like most things in Destiny, we can still guess. Calus could be hiding in his former form as we've seen in some room hidden away in his ship just watching us, but he also could not even look like this anymore and instead have taken the form of something different, became something new, and he wants us to know the true power of the universe to grow fat from strength. Given the depiction of an ascendant realm looking area in the trailer, it's interesting for sure. We've seen the Shadow Realm in the first Leviathan raid, which may have something to do with the counselors and the whole Scion situation, but in there we've seen a different form of Calus compared to the big laser beaming robot witnessed moments before, and I'm wondering if we're going to explore a little bit more of that with this new Ascendant Realm looking area. Now, more things in Destiny have been branching out and getting their own Ascendant Realms, things like Mara Sov, we had the Mindbender Baron who was messing with all the Hive stuff. And besides that, has Calus done the same thing, or is this area related to more Hive beings on board the ship? Now next we have something really crazy and creepy discovered by some users on Reddit like MP Slowy. The link to that user's post is down below, and within this you can hear random whispers within Cabal concentrated areas or environments. This could just be the ambience tied to specific areas or the assets, but it also could be strategically placed by Bungie for a reason, to tell the story, to make us hear the whispers they've been talking about in the lore for so long now. So if you'd like to hear these for yourself, you can head to the Leviathan or a lost sector like the Skydock in the EDZ and turn off your music. Turn up your sound effects because that's where this is going to be heard in the ambience, background noise and things like that, and make sure your headset volume is turned up. So once again, could just be the ambience for effect, but also could tie into the game's gigantic pile of lore. We've heard about hearing these whispers for a very long time now. We know that characters like Ahamkara communicate with the Guardians through their bones, which is on our armor, even if they are dead. Now this is a little bit of a different case because it's Cabal related and I'm not wearing any bones, and armor doesn't really matter for this, so you can be any Guardian, any armor set, and still hear these whispers. Now I don't want to dive into too much of that right now because this video is getting quite long, but if it is an ambience, it could be tied to something to do with the Scions, and some of these clips sound kind of like them. I mean, I'll play a little comparison so you can decide for yourself, but it's really hard to say at this point in time what these actually mean. But Guardians, that's all I got for today's crazy video. What do you think the raid boss in the Crown of Sorrow raid is going to be, and will we learn of Calus's true form? If you did enjoy this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe for some more awesome Destiny 2 news and entertainment. My name's Evade, and I'll catch you Guardians in the next one.